Okay, here we are, Thursday night, dating and relationships. My name is Chloe Ballatori. I'm a relationship and communication expert. I'm a graduate of Princeton University and Pat Allen's Want Institute. I have been doing this work for about 12 years now. I use tools that I learned from Dr. Pat Allen, which are from androgynous semantic realignment, which we'll get into later, also known as ASR. I use tools from Eric Berne's transactional analysis, also known as TA. And I use tools that I've created myself because I've been doing this a while. I'm also over 20 years married. So everything that I'm teaching you guys is not only backed by scientific and psychological principles, but also is vetted by me personally and probably by thousands of people that I've worked with at this point. So welcome if this is your first time here. I'm going to do a brief introduction of what this work is all about. If you don't understand everything at the first go, that's okay. A lot of it is up to repetition. It also, you get a deeper understanding of these principles when you put them into action. So I'm going to give a brief description of this work, the principles it's based on, and then my favorite part is taking your questions, which we're going to spend most of the time on. So I will answer questions, obviously, about dating and relationships, which is my specialty. But this work is based on scientific and psychological truths. So you can apply it to family situations, conflicts, work situations, friendships. If you have a question about any of those things, please feel free. And that's really how we learn, is by asking questions. Okay, so what are we talking about? What's ASR? What's TA? What are these things? Okay. The most successful relationships are those that are balanced between feminine and masculine energy, also known as yin and yang. This complementary energy allows us to resolve conflicts and helps us through awkward situations. And you don't need to be cognizant of it all the time, but it certainly does help, especially in awkward situations and in conflicts. Um, all of us are both. All of us are feminine and masculine. That has been definitively proven. I mean, obviously, the ideas of yin and yang, those are thousands of years old. But we also have more recent biological scholarship about the hemispheres of the brain. And we all of us have a right hemisphere, which is the feminine or yin energy, which is passive, patient, and vulnerable. This is the world of feelings. This is the world of creativity, sensuality, spirituality, sexuality. Yin energy is in the world to make it fun, but it's not of the world. It's ethereal. And we all of us have the left brain, which is the yang energy, the world of thoughts. Most of us are in our yang energy when we're at work, for example. So yang energy is competitive, conquering, controlling. It's doing, achieving, taking care of. It's the world of ideas. Yang energy is very much of the world. And if you think of a metaphor for yang energy, we often think of bricks. For yin energy, we think of air. And it's these two sides of ourselves that also need to be in balance, okay? Now, we find ourselves thrown out of balance in relationships primarily due to patterns from childhood. Whether you had trauma with a big T or a small t, in this context doesn't particularly matter. What matters is understanding that that trauma encouraged you to sacrifice your authenticity in favor of attaching to the people who own the refrigerator, because that's what we have to do when we're children. And I'm talking about the ages from 0 to 12. The between 0 to 12 are so many critical development windows that Freud said that's pretty much set. That sets who we are. And then after 12, is getting over it. Um, so he was right about that in the sense that everything that happens in those early years has a very powerful effect on us. And we think when we develop coping mechanisms and strategies that they're existential truths, but they're really strategies of the moment. And the problems occur when we take those strategies into our adult lives and recreate those scenarios specifically in our most intimate relationships. This is due to something called the repetition compulsion. This is Alice Miller's work. She was um, a student of Freud and Carl Jung. And the repetition compulsion basically states we are doomed to repeat that which we are not aware of or don't understand. Because simply repeating something provides us with comfort. It doesn't bring us joy, but it provides us with some comfort, maybe the notion that we were right. Okay. But if you're in this room, you're interested in breaking the patterns that no longer serve you as an adult. And this is really what we work on. We work on getting what we want by shedding some of these old scripts and old strategies and learning to negotiate with love. And that's really what TA, transactional analysis, and ASR, androgynous semantic realignment, is all about. Androgynous semantic realignment, there are a number of tools associated with it, but basically it means you're balancing that feminine and masculine aspect in yourself and in your romantic relationships. Transactional analysis breaks down transactions not necessarily between feminine and masculine, but between seducing with guilt, bullying with fear or intimidation, and negotiating with love. Those are the three basic ways to communicate. Okay. And like I said, we work on negotiating with love. So that's what I do. I work with men, I work with women, I work with couples, I work with teenagers. I've also written 4 books on this subject. The most recent is Daddy Issues. They're all available on Amazon. The first book, How to Live, is more the guidebook with the basics of this work in it, but all my books have something unique in them. And you can check those out. I put my credentials in the chat if you guys want to cut and paste that. I also put my website and the link to my module packages. I teach this work a few times a year in smaller groups, a little more intensely, and for a longer period of time. So if you want to sign up for that, you can as well. Okay. Now I'm going to start taking questions. And I also love getting your updates. So if you have a question, really about anything I've said so far, you can ask it. You can also ask about other people's work. And I also love to hear your updates. Okay, Wendy.
Hello.
Hi, Wendy. How can I help you?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up and ask an additional question about another guy.
Great.
So, yeah, I just wanted to reflect a little bit on the guidance you gave me with the caregiver guy. And mostly, you remember that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. You have an amazing memory. Um,
a blessing
mostly,
and a curse.
and yeah, mostly I feel really good about it. Like it was such an interesting experiment to sit with, and not call because I mostly just feel like kind of more liberated about that. I mentioned that last time and I'm just, still saying
It
that. Like I
is
just
such a
don't care so
victory.
much.
Yes, it's such a victory to sit with an uncomfortable feeling and not reach for something to alleviate it, be it a behavior like calling compulsively or a drug or, even hormones released in your body can be drugs. So good for you. And I love what you said about treating it like an experiment, because I think that's always really useful. Okay.
Yeah.
So good job on that. Continue.
Yeah, I feel like a lot less like I have anything to prove. I kind of grew up with sort of an elitist mindset, like, like it was kind of it was on me to, make everyone like me. Why shouldn't they like me? Like it's such a burden. Like,
It's
no.
such a burden. Yeah.
Yeah, really kind of, self-involved, and yeah, I don't care so much. So, but there's like a part of me that still feels like it's a little rude for people on either end, but maybe especially the male to not sort of put closure. Like if you meet someone in person, it seems sort of rude to not follow up and say, "Hey, it was lovely to meet you. It's not quite the right match. Wish you all the best." But like to just leave someone hanging. Do you feel like that's rude or that's perfectly normal?
Um, well, I mean, it is perfectly normal. It happens all the time. And people are really divided on that. Some people agree with you and they think, God, I just wish he would say or she would say it's not a match, so I can just put it out of my head. And other people are like, you know what? That's fine. He evaporated. I don't need to know why he didn't like me. So it really just depends. I mean, you can read. I always like to look at people's actions anyways, more than I look at people's words. Words are nice, but actions really tell you. And so I think there's too much stress on getting quote closure or resolution that depends on having a conversation with the other person. He's got 8 weeks, like I told you. Don't
Right.
it's what's it been 3 weeks?
Something like that. I'm not keeping track, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so let's just see what happens. Let's continue with the experiment and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's whether it's rude or not. I mean, some people don't know what to say, right? They don't have the words to say what you just articulated. Some
This is a
people,
grown man, I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
I
Okay,
mean,
I'll
you're
continue.
entitled to your opinion about it, of course. Let's see if he does reach out.
Okay, I don't think he will. I'm okay with it, but
Okay.
anyway. So I wanted to ask about this other guy, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is something I kind of run into in not just him, but so it's talking to him on, on an app, and we didn't talk much, but we seem to have a lot in common. And in fact, we live near each other. And so he pretty quickly he gave me his number and said, let's talk off the app. And if I feel uncomfortable, I would say, hey, I'd feel more comfortable talking here first. But we had
Right.
enough to go on that it seemed kind of weird not to.
Right.
But
And good for
yeah,
you, by the way, because, that's another thing. You got to get off that app at least within 2 weeks. So excellent work on
yeah,
that.
no, this would only been like 2 days or something. But the other thing I like to get out before I get off the app with someone is to let them know about my medical condition, because I don't want to waste an hour of my energy on the phone talking to someone that's just not even in the realm of what they would be into.
Okay.
And I
Right.
always say, I have a very difficult medical condition. It's this, and um, I said it's not the right match for everyone, and I take no offense if they know that right away or down the road. I give them a total out, but I feel like it makes sense to say that right away. But what happens when he gave me his number, and so I said, "Hey, want to let you know, in text, um, not private text, but the app."
Hmm.
He said, "Oh," he wrote back, "Oh, I have never even heard of Lyme disease, and I don't know about that." He
Wow.
said, but he said, you know, call me anytime, basically. And so I don't like that being. I haven't called him because I like, um, it feels like I want him to call me, right?
Yeah. But he's asking you to call him. So you either need to just call him and
Uh
then
huh.
say when you call him, I called you because you asked me to, but I do feel more comfortable. Um, I don't chase men, so I do feel more comfortable if you reach out first.
Uh
Or
huh.
you can say that now. You can say, yes, that sounds great. I want to talk to you. What do you think? Right? Because you're going to ask his thoughts.
It's
He's
been about a week, by the way.
okay. So you haven't called in a week. Okay. So he asked you to call a week ago and you haven't called. Okay. Um, you can always just say, I feel more comfortable if you call me and give your number,
Uh huh.
you know.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if it was in person and he gave you his card, you might take his card and write your number on the back of it and give it back to him. I feel more comfortable if you reach out to me.
Yeah.
I don't chase men.
I don't chase men. Yeah. I like that. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Chloe.
You're welcome. Excellent work.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Pari.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hi, Chloe. This is my first call
Hi,
with this
Pari.
group.
Welcome.
Thank you. Sounds like some folks have been here before, so I'm very
Yes, I've
new.
been doing this for 2 years, so
Oh, okay. I'm glad I'm finally here. I mean, it goes both ways. That you don't want to be single for a long time and needing these things at the same time. You need these things to not stay single too
I
long. So
mean, yeah,
anyway,
there's no shame in asking for help. And unfortunately, this isn't stuff we traditionally learn in school. You know, times have changed a lot. A lot of the advice that we get from our parents is no longer valid, right? So,
absolutely not. Yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. And Wendy, it was nice to hear you share your stories. And I know it's difficult to be in a situation that you're in, and I relate to a certain extent. So it takes courage to share what you did. So Chloe, would it help to give any background information about myself, or
give me
jump
your
straight to the
question
questions?
first, and
Okay.
then if I need more information, I'll ask for it.
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah. So I have two or three different topics, and then let me know, if you just want to comment or then go deeper another time. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing is, I guess all of us experience this: too many apps, too many options, and um, as being a woman, I do receive a lot more interest than I initiate, and I think which is generally the case. And I find it hard to be on 3 4 different apps and receiving all these interests, which is, I mean, a great problem to have, but also, it's like a
It gets too
two-sided
overwhelming. You
problem.
can't,
It
right.
is,
You can't sort
it
through
is.
it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I rely on what the guy has said on his profile. There are some profiles where this absolutely just the bare minimum. Yeah, you're a man. Yes, I'm straight. I'm looking for a man. You're this age. Sometimes even that's incorrect. And you're in this location, which is automatic on the app.
Right.
Nothing else. So, I mean, he may look cute, but then on what basis do I reach out for him? So I ignore all of those. So I only go for men that have said at least a few meaningful things, even
Okay.
if very basic.
Okay.
Um, so I mean, any comment on this,
Okay.
or
So
is
just
that the
a
right
few things.
approach?
So first of all, it's really easy to get burnt out on the apps. And you have to remember with the apps is an algorithm. So that's created by a human.
Hmm.
Um, these humans are vested in keeping you swiping. So really what the algorithm tries to do is get you someone close,
Mm,
but not necessarily exact, right?
right. Mm,
So you have to keep that in mind that you're in a business. And sometimes it works, right? We all know people who've met on apps and been successful in
right.
successful relationships. But you also just have to be wary of only doing the apps. I always recommend if you're on the apps to also augment that with some in-person flirting.
Which I'm very terrible at.
Okay,
Once
well,
someone starts flirting with me, I get into it, but I'm
okay,
not good with initiating.
I'm gonna help you with that.
Okay, thanks. I need it.
Um, but the other thing I was gonna say is if you are on the apps, give yourself a time limit so that you don't get burnt out. So maybe you only look at it for 20 minutes a day, you know.
And 4 apps. So maybe should I actually cut back on the number of
Yeah, I
apps
mean,
too?
see
Okay.
which ones are, yeah, see which ones are working. I mean, it becomes a really big time suck. And the thing about meeting people on the apps that's just worse than meeting people in person is you got to match, then you got to have the conversation, then you got to set up the time. Once you see the person, this is definitely true for men. Sometimes with women, chemistry can build, but definitely it's true for men. You know right away, right? You know within the first
Mm,
5 minutes usually. So
right.
the
Mm,
you already have spent all this other time, and then if you see the person, you know it's not a match, it's like, oh, right? And that becomes very frustrating. Then you just feel like you're moving sand from back and
Hmm.
forth. You're not accomplishing anything. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to flirt. There's an
Okay.
exercise that I teach called the 5 flirts. And
Okay.
my first question to you is, do you want your feelings cherished or your thoughts respected? Everybody wants both, but which do you want more in your personal relationship?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Uh, Feelings cherished versus thoughts respected.
One is the masculine, one is the feminine.
Ah, if I'm reading this right, feelings cherished as in feelings acknowledged.
Cherished. Like if you say, I'm cold, does he say, shut up, it's hot? Or does he say, oh, let me get your sweater?
Oh, I love that then. I'm a feeler myself. So yeah,
Okay.
feelings cherished versus
Okay, so
thoughts
feeling
respected.
cherished. So that's the feminine mode. Most of the time, women want feeling cherished and men want thoughts respected. I'd say
Mm,
15 to 25% of the time that is flipped, and there's nothing wrong with that. The point is to have something balanced. Now, usually if people are in this room, they have a strong feminine side and a strong masculine side. So that's why there's a dilemma. That's why you
mm,
took a moment there, right? You obviously have a strong I mean, I already know you have a strong masculine side and a strong feminine side. That's when you have the dilemma, and that's where these tools really come in
hmm.
handy. Okay, so feelings cherished. That means you're not going to be the first person to speak. But if
Yeah,
you
okay.
see somebody that interests you, you're going to give him 5 seconds of eye contact and smile at the same time. Now, I want you to be doing this at least 5 times a week. Four,
Wow, okay, I need to go out more. Mm,
well, no, four can be in the process of your day. Like
mm, mm,
you're at the grocery store, you're walking your dog, whatever it is. You see someone, give him the 5 seconds of eye contact with the smile. That's his signal he can approach. Okay.
mm,
Now,
okay.
one day a week, I want you to plant yourself somewhere. So pick somewhere where you like the men that hang out there, be it a hotel bar, be it the Starbucks by the fire station, a museum, a dog park, whatever it is. And you can play around with it a little bit till you find your spot. It's nice to pick a regular spot sometimes because then people get to know you
Mm,
in a less stressful environment, right? And that's why a lot of people fall in love at work because you get to know people and you see them through different circumstances, but there's not that pressure of continuing to date. So plant yourself somewhere, go alone, one day a week, 45 minutes to an hour.
mm,
And then that person, when you give them the eye contact and smile, has the chance to approach you.
okay, I like that.
Okay. So try that. It's all about the eye contact and the smile. That's the key to flirting is really that eye contact.
Yeah, I'm good with smiling, but my eye contact doesn't last too long. So I will work on that.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
try that. You're welcome.
Yeah, I did have other questions, but I know there's a bunch of people with questions, so I'll hold mine off a little
Okay.
later. Yeah, until later. Thank you.
Okay. I'll if we have time, we'll come back to you.
Okay, thanks.
And, if not, you guys can always schedule an appointment. Um, Here, I'll put it in here again. Because this meeting is really to introduce you guys to these tools, to create this community that we're building to support each other. But it's hard to get super deep in this room because we have a limited amount of time. So if you want to set up a private that is open to you as well, or sign up for one of the modules. Okay. Um, who's next? Daniel.
Hello, this is Daniel Wadner from Arizona. This is also my first meeting with you guys, so
Welcome,
exciting.
welcome.
Mhm.
How
So
can I
I'm
help you?
I'm just planning to learn more stuff about this whole romance and dating thing. I'm currently 26 and my experience with it is quite limited. I would say there are about two girls that I got somewhat close to, but during my lifetime, but because of work and moving between different schools and cities and all that, it sadly never worked out. And now I'm at a point where I kind of trying to redefine myself, figure out things that I like to do. And I'm getting better at that, but I realize that I haven't built up the whole romantic side of my life before. So I'm hoping with these meetings, it will give me some tools to build up that confidence and meet more people in the future.
Hmm. Is that okay? So you're looking to be in a relationship.
Hmm.
Do you know if you want your feelings cherished more or your thoughts respected more?
I'd say for me, it'd be my feelings cherished because not to go too deep in the background, but I've been living with a single parent and it was a father. So going on your commentary about masculine and feminine energies, I feel like there's an overbalance with my masculine side and I want to explore the more feminine traits a bit more. So when I really thought about that, and when you had your conversations with the other guys, I figured I would rather have my feelings reciprocated or at least understood to that extent.
Okay. It's not like that's totally fine. I just want to clarify. It's not like if you say thoughts respected that you have no opportunity to share your feelings. It just means that you're not necessarily leading with them if there's a conflict or by default or an awkward situation. So if you want to express your feelings, it's especially negative feelings, it's a matter of using a rubric to make an appointment so that it doesn't become like World War III with somebody. That's
Of
all.
course.
But okay, so let's go with feelings that you want your feelings cherished. Okay, so you can do the 5 flirts that I described to Pari, right?
Hmm.
And for you it would be the same because you want to be in the feminine energy. So you would be looking for somebody in the masculine energy, which is fine. I have many clients actually who are masculine, very high achieving women who want their thoughts respected and want to cherish a man's feelings. So you're going to be looking at somebody like that, somebody you can respect, somebody that you could look up to, somebody that you could get advice from, and somebody who's going to make you feel good, who's going to cherish you, who's going to care about your feelings. Does that sound accurate?
Yes, like the
Okay.
way I was thinking about it, just if not like exactly to that point, at least they aim for that kind of relationship.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay, good. So, what are you doing to meet people, to meet dates?
Whenever I get the chance, personally, I'm trying to avoid the apps as much as I can because it seems trickier to do that, especially nowadays. Not make that priority. So whenever I can, it's usually at work when I try to interact with people, just seeing how they're doing, trying to check
Mhm.
up on their private hobbies and all of that, or just how they're feeling in the moment. Just getting those basic,
Okay. So,
conversations
since you
going in.
want your feelings cherished, you're probably going to be asking other people about their thoughts. Okay.
Mhm.
Because they're going to be asking you about your feelings, and that's that complementary energy that you want to get going. Um, so you're just kind of talking to people at work.
Not just at work, but if I have a day off and I find myself just kind of like just traveling around doing hobbies and all that, I just check up on the scenery. I haven't really made because I've been nervous about actually, going up to people and starting that initiation. There hasn't been a lot, of
Okay.
conversations on that. But when someone initiates with me, I try to reciprocate and share my thoughts on the whole
Perfect.
thing.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So then you're gonna, but in if it's a romantic situation again, I want you to try to lead with your feelings more because that's what you said you wanted your feelings shared. So that means you can do the 5 flirts. Since you're going to be in the feminine energy, you're not going to be speaking first. The only exception to that is if you wanted to ask somebody's advice or help with something. Oh, what drinks do you like? Do you recommend one of these coffees? Or whatever it is. If you see someone you like and they haven't noticed you or they're haven't seen your eye contact and smile and they don't know that you're interested and that they can approach, then you do have that tool where you can ask for advice or for help. Okay. So do you think you can try doing those 5 flirts a week?
Sure, if I can look them up. Are they going to be under your links? What would they be under?
Oh, it's just, did you hear what I said to Pari or were you not listening?
Just like a little bit of it, but I didn't get the
Okay.
full.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
tell you again. Okay, so 4 of those are going to be in the course of your day. Meaning, if you see someone that catches your eye, you're going to, while you're walking down the street with your dog or you're going to the grocery store, You're going to give them 5 seconds of eye contact and smile and maybe ask for help. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's your signal that they can approach you because you said you like to be approached. Okay. Then one day a week, you're going to plant yourself somewhere. Be somewhere where you like the girls that frequent that place. So it could be, near a yoga studio, it could be a museum, whatever it is. Plant yourself there, 45 minutes to an hour, go alone, and then you can do your 5 minutes of eye contact and smile. And if somebody responds, they have a chance to sit down with you, right? To buy you a
Mm-hmm.
coffee, whatever it is. Okay?
Right.
You will meet people that way. So try it that way and try it from the like I said, from the yin energy standpoint, the feminine energy standpoint, and see how it goes, and then let me know how it goes.
Of course. Gotcha.
Okay. Okay. I look forward to your update.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. Sam, are you there?
Yeah, hi. Yeah,
Hi, Sam.
I was having trouble on the computer, so that's why I writ in the chat to say I wanted to speak, because on the computer it doesn't have settings to raise your hand.
Oh, okay. I got it. Well, how can I help you?
Um, how can you help me is I still facing the same situation with my friend, Junior. Um, I understand everyone is saying to just give him some time and let him have that space. And basically, he's still a good friend, but he phoned me um on I think it was uh what was the day yesterday? Can't remember
Wednesday?
because not Wednesday. Talking about the day before that. Um, um, yeah, he phoned me on Wednesday instead of Thursday, and basically he phones at different times, but today he sent a scripture, but then today comes he didn't phone. And I met him at the church when there was a church meeting, and the woman said to me he's going through trials because with everyone he doesn't want to answer the phone all day today.
Okay,
So
so he's having his own issues. So it's
yeah,
not, it doesn't sound like it's personal to you then.
he said he's not speaking to his mum or Luton. He just wanted the phone off that time. And so for some reason he um was meant to get off at his stop on the bus, but he got off the bus. But when I tried to say goodbye to him, he wasn't saying anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is kind of what we talked about last week. It's like there's only so much you can do. It's if he's having his own issues or, most of the time when somebody is rejecting you or not responding, it has more to do with them than it has to do with you.
Maybe it's
Uh,
his high blood pressure because he's still going through things. Because
yeah. What did you told me last time that the pastor was going to speak to him? What ended up happening with that?
they've spoken to him, but then the thing is, he he Pastor Yemi spoke to me yesterday, because even when I messaged him through the group chat through the church, for some reason the church didn't like that, and he didn't really like that, and basically, Pastor Yemi said to me, "What are the rules? You have to wait till Junior's ready to call you,
Right.
to unblock you when he wants to call on
Right.
his normal personal one." But I said to Pastor Yemi, the reason why I'm doing it through that one is because I can't seem to get to him on the other one.
Right.
And the thing is, I'm still his good friend, and Mum's letting him come to celebrate my birthday on Saturday. And then he's also coming with us to Spain in May.
Nice. Okay.
But then my brother, when he came in today, he told me, why don't I just um give Junior some time to just be himself and let him have his a bit more space or something. But then someone recommended that I have like a counselor therapy today, a Christian counselor therapy, because I have learning difficulty Asperger's. So Eric told me if I was to chat through the chat with the therapy counselor and do it tomorrow morning or something, they will respond to my answer where it says, what should I do if I'm to being too close to a friend?
Okay. Okay. Well, definitely, first of all, kudos to you for reaching out for help because that's the first step. So good job there. And I think you should avail yourself of that tomorrow.
Lots of
Um,
people giving me advice, like friends from Bible study, trying to help me with Christian therapy counselor with different itch
right.
situations with my Asperger's. I get anxious about so many things.
Okay. Well, I want you to, if you can, as much as you can, not take it personally, what's happening with Junior. And, for now, let
Yeah, but
him.
I get really angry though about these things.
I know, because you don't, he's not been consistent and he's not showing up for you. But it sounds like he can't do that, or he won't do that, or he's just not doing that. And so I just want to take that off your plate because you can't control him.
Because it seems like when I want him to ring, he doesn't always ring. He rings
Yeah,
on
I mean,
his
you
own.
have to consider whether or not this friendship is bringing you more negative feelings than it is positive feelings.
Because my support worker said I need to give the guy some time to rest because he's
Yeah.
got
Yeah, I
high blood
recommend
pressure.
you investing maybe in some other people, meeting some new people. What do you think about that?
It's hard though because I've met a few people online and that, but trying to register with different Christian events is not always easy.
Right. I know, but
And
I just think
also
that effort will
looking
be
for a
better.
girlfriend is another hard thing as well.
Right. So have you been trying the eye contact and the smiling?
Hmm. Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Have you been trying the eye contact and smiling?
Um, I've not been too happy lately
Okay. Yeah,
because
because of the
because
situation. Okay,
yeah,
I know it's really hard, but I do want you to start directing your energy into some other things, even if they're just for you and just nice things for you to do alone or nice things for you to do in a group, but not necessarily depending on this guy because he's not in a pattern right now where he can be counted on. Do you
because
understand?
it seems like last Sunday when I wanted to sit um at the table with him and he was with the children, he was saying some things which were like, oh, I want you to be a bit way further from me because
Okay, well then
um
you got to respect what he's saying. That's
but
why
then
I'm saying invest in somebody else.
the thing is he's then saying about Paul in the Bible. The reason why I was telling you to stay away because I've learned some things about Paul in the Bible. When I got him, he told me that on the phone, but he never
Okay.
told me that when I was there. So I was
Okay.
wondering why he's doing all this.
Right.
And
Okay. Well,
then he brings up scripture in the workplace last week saying, "Oh, because I'm learning some new things and I'm trying to know how to do new things in life."
right. Okay. Well, like I said, I want you to take a rest on him for a while and focus your energy on yourself or in meeting other people.
That's what people have been saying. Why don't you just think about you?
Yeah. I agree with those people. So give that a shot. I know it's hard, but either way is hard. You're going through a hard time now because he's letting you down all the time.
I
So,
know, but I'm not happy though still.
okay, well then keep going. But it's just you're gonna keep having the same issue and it's just gonna keep going, it's just the same cycle. But let
Because the thing is, I'm really wanting to go to his house, but Pastor Yemi said not for this moment. You can see him outside,
okay, well then let's go with what he said.
but it's just not fair though for me.
I agree. That's why I want you to invest in somebody else. There's
How
just
do I do? How do I do that though?
in general, we tend to want to control other people where we really don't have any jurisdiction, not just you, but everyone. Instead of really addressing the control we have over ourselves, our own reactions and responses to things. So I want you to think about, I've given you some ideas, but I want you to think about for next week, what are some things that you can do that are for you that don't depend on Junior's behavior, okay? And
Mhm.
a bunch of people have hands raised and we have limited time, so I'm going to move on, but that's the homework I'm giving you.
So what if I was to want to look for a girlfriend as well?
Are you listening to what I'm saying about the flirting?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I think you should start up with. The eye contact and the smile.
Okay, because I find it hard sometimes to talk to women as well.
Yeah. Well, start
And
there. Start with the eye contact and the smile.
because there's been times in the past I would like get angry, and because I do have learning difficulty Asperger's, sometimes things have not always worked out, but sometimes they do.
Okay. Yeah. That's the truth for anyone. Okay. Okay. So good luck. Let me know
I
how it
think
goes
with it,
next week.
I think
Um, I think you're putting in a lot of good effort. Okay. Who's next? Robin.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Robin. Welcome back. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
I just usually think about it, 7 or 8 o'clock, and it's already done.
How can I help you?
Okay, so since I last talked to you, I've been going out to meetups and meeting people, and I basically gone and dropped all the dating apps because there was only one woman that I actually ended up meeting from one of them, and I thought it was going well, and then she basically texted me afterwards, and not only was she not wanting to have a second date, she didn't even want to talk to me, didn't want to meet me,
Okay.
didn't want to have anything to do with me. So,
Well, it happens. Like
no, I
Sam was
know.
saying.
Yeah, so I mean, it just,
Have you been doing your in-person flirting?
well, I mean, as best I can, I mean, I'm talking to people on a regular basis at the meetups,
Okay.
but, I'm not able to transition that from talking during the meetup to getting phone numbers and potentially going out.
Okay. So are you wanting to get your thoughts respected or your feelings cherished? Are you there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind
Okay.
of want both, but
Right. Everybody wants both, but what do you want more?
I guess cherished.
Your
Cherished
feelings
by.
cherished. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then that's what you're going to be leaning with. So you're going to be having to reel somebody into asking you out. And that you're going to do that by respecting the other person's thoughts, by asking their advice, maybe by listening to their ideas, by
Right.
echoing their ideas when you can, or giving them support or praising them. Okay. This is how because masculine energy people need to do good to feel good. Feminine energy people need to feel good to do good. When you respect another person's thoughts, a masculine energy person's thoughts, then that makes them feel good. Okay. And then that will make them want to cherish your feelings. That's kind of how that complementary communication dynamic works. So when you're doing the 5 flirts, which you should be doing too because you're single and wanting to meet somebody, keep those things in mind. And again, you're going to not be the one to speak first. You're going to be looking for, probably a high achieving woman, a smart woman, someone who wants to take control of the situation and cherish your feelings. Okay, so start with the eye contact and the smile, doing that, 4 times a week, just in the course of your day. And then that one day where you plant yourself. Okay. And then let me know how it goes. And don't feel bad about the apps. Everybody is having problems on the apps. There's a huge backlash against the apps right now. So you're not alone there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't even having much luck with people even responding. And then, when women would respond, they would, respond one time, and then I'd respond back to them and, ghosting away.
Okay, well, try this in-person flirting and let me know how it goes, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to try to get to everybody. Okay, Udu.
Hey, Chloe. Thank you so much for
Hi,
hosting.
you're welcome. How can I help you?
Nice to meet you, everyone. This is my first time here. And so far, the insights that everyone is sharing is very, very, very insightful. Thank you so much for that. My question is pretty straightforward. Right now, my current protocol is simply approaching everyone I see. It doesn't really matter. I just go simply introduce myself, and that has been working. But then the issue that I'm facing is basically time utilization because not everyone is in the market.
Wait, what was that
Uh,
last word that you used? The issue you're having
which
is
one?
what?
Yeah, the issue that I'm facing right now is, whenever I go for a walk, if I'm doing my daily chores or whatnot, I just simply approach people. So that works out just fine because,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if she is available in the market, then I can date. And, if the vibes are there, I can ask out for a date and whatnot. And if not, I can also add it to my social circle,
Mm-hmm.
invite them for my events and whatnot. So I'm trying to translate the same approach on dating apps. So far, so far I'm hearing that dating apps are kind of harsh as of now,
Mm-hmm.
but I still want to give it a try. I haven't tried it before, so wanted to get your, and of course, if anyone wants to chime in, insights on what are the key things that we should be paying attention to when it comes to like setting up the dating apps
Okay.
from like third person perspective of, let's say, like the pics, the text prompt, or what are the important mandatory factors?
Okay. So first of all, I just want to tell you that I think you'll have more success approaching women if you get that eye contact and smile first. Okay. I
Mhm.
understand that it's working okay, and I commend you on your courage. But if you throw out the eye contact and smile and it's responded to with an eye contact and smile for significant number of seconds, like 3 seconds or more,
Mhm.
that's a good sign for you to approach. Otherwise, I just think you're going to be wasting some of your energy approaching women who are maybe not interested. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. I
Okay.
completely agree with you. It's just that, let's say, if they don't even hold the eye contact or, sometimes they look away, definitely you can read the subconscious body language. So, I feel like 90% of the communication is kind of subconscious communication.
Yes,
So
but
as soon
it
as I feel that,
absolutely. Yeah.
right, as soon as I feel that energy, like, okay, she's kind of open or receptive, then only I go and approach, of course. So feel confident on those, I would say,
Okay.
like
And let
in-person
me ask
things.
you,
Right.
so it sounds like you want to be the masculine energy because you're the one who's going and approaching. Is that correct?
100%.
Okay. Okay. So that means you're on the dating apps. Now, like I've said, if you've been here from the beginning, the dating apps are based on an algorithm. The algorithm is man-made. It's not supposed to be a perfect algorithm. It's just supposed to get you close because ultimately they want to keep you on the dating apps. Okay. So just go in with
Mhm.
that mindset, meaning don't take it too personally if you're not getting a lot of matches or even if you are, right? Now, sometimes it does work out. So if you want to do that, it's fine. You want to get started on the dating apps. Since you want to be in the masculine energy, you're going to lead in your bio, in your descriptions. You're going to lead with things about your achievements, your thoughts, your ideas. When you are approaching women, you are going to elicit their feelings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, it depends on which app you're on. Sometimes it says, I'm looking for a woman who, right?
Right.
Then you're going to put feelings things, who enjoys sunsets, for example, who likes long walks on the beach. Okay. You're not going to say, I'm looking for a woman who graduated Harvard, right?
Right.
Even
I
if
see your
she
point. So
did, even if she did, you leading with the masculine. So you're not going to be asking about the other person's achievements, or you're not going to be focusing on that. It's fine to
right.
have a high achieving person. But I'm just saying, ultimately, what we try to avoid are the power struggles, either the power struggle for feminine, which is for sympathy, or the
Mm-hmm.
power and guilt, or the power struggle for masculine, which is the control and the power. Okay. So that's why we have this rubric between that. And when I'm telling you to start with your thoughts and inquiring about the woman's feelings, it's to establish that balance and that complementary energy early on. Because the beginning of the relationship always sets the blueprint, right, for the rest of the relationship. So even on the apps, you're going to lead again with your achievements, and then you're going to be inquiring about other people's feelings. I want to take you to dinner. How do you feel about that? For example, okay? It takes a little practice. Like when I say
Mm-hmm.
cherish a woman's feelings or respect a man's thoughts, it's not like something necessary. I remember when I was first learning it, it's not like something came to mind specifically. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Right?
Right.
Once you start practicing and you start playing with it, you start to get a hang of it. So part
Yeah,
of it
completely.
is trying
Yep.
it. Okay. So try that. Let me know how it goes.
Sounds good. So one
Okay.
super quick follow-up would be,
Yes.
so your suggestion is on the profile, since men are mostly like logical, and
Mhm.
from my approach, what I've seen is pretty much emotional, right? On the other side. So what you're recommending is the profile should be kind of logical grounded, whereas when I text or approach them on the app, it should be more uh, emotionally catered.
Well, it's like you make your statement of what you want and then you ask about her feelings. Okay. So
Mhm.
you're just going to be leading with your thoughts. You're not going to ask her to plan the date. You're going to
Oh,
plan
of
the
course. Yeah. Definitely
and then
take
you're
the
going to
initiative.
ask her
That's
how she feels about that
right.
plan. Okay.
I
So
see.
so that's what I mean. Does that make it more clear? But try it. I
Yep.
mean, everybody has to like try it and see what it means to them,
Right.
But that's the essential. And nobody does it perfectly. Like you don't have to do it perfectly, but it's just to keep that in mind when you're in the awkward situations or when you're, having a conflict. It's incredibly helpful. It's
Right.
really a game changer. You'll be
Yeah.
surprised.
The way I look at that is basically like a salsa dance, right? Wherein I take one step and I see if she is willing to take one step, right? It's like a masculine and feminine energy
Yeah,
dance.
yeah.
If she doesn't
Salsa's good or
reciprocate, then
waltzing. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Very
if
good.
she's not
Very good.
feeling it, I'm just simply out. I just save my resources and I'm on to the next one. As simple as
Right.
that, right? So
And women will, just like men, we talked about this last week. Men are they love it when a woman asks about their thoughts. And
mhm.
women love it when a man asks about their feelings.
Oh,
Okay?
completely. Yep.
So that alone will kind of give you an unfair advantage.
No, completely. The one, sorry for taking too much time.
It's
I'll
okay.
wrap this up. So one thing that I have kind of learned from my little bit of experience that I think people might find helpful is, especially for men, you have to take the initiative like 80% of the time before you meet. And once you meet, keep your mouth shut and enter like a listening, good listener mode and let her talk more.
Mm,
Because once you're on the date, you can like kind of tune it down to like 20%. And if you allow her to open up more, right, understand what truly defines her, what she likes, right, what is something that she wants to talk about, basically let her navigate the convo, and of course you can lead the date, that doesn't matter. But 80% before and then 20% after, that formula works flawlessly.
Okay. I mean that, in general, the masculine is the talking and the feminine is the listening. Not that that
Mhm.
means that they, don't, especially like in the early days, you want to make sure that, you know, you she doesn't interview you though. I understand what you're saying.
Right.
You're the one more asking the questions and that. So I
Right.
understand what you're saying. There's a little bit of a nuance there, so feel it out. Yes, Wendy's saying, I like when a man asks me questions or show interest, else I don't open up. Exactly. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
At start, it has to be like you have to kickstart and take extra initiative. But then once the flow begins, once she also, starts taking a few extra steps from her side, then it will flow flawlessly.
Okay. Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, if that's working for you, stick with it. Okay. Thanks for your question.
Cool.
Thanks for
Thank
sharing.
you so much.
You're welcome. I look forward to your update. Okay, I know we have more hands raised. This will probably be my last question. Let's see. BFM1.
I don't know why it shows up like that, but I go by Brian.
Okay. Hi, Brian. How can I help you?
Hi,
A
Chloe.
quick
Thank you
question?
thank you for having me. Thank you for hosting. Um, it's just a quick question. I've been seeing and dating this girl exclusively for quite some time now, a couple of years. And it's coming up to the time where, we're thinking about popping the question, marriage.
Great.
But but I guess I'm just looking for some advice or some direction to take this. But it's come to this point, and if I'm gonna be honest, I still have some hesitancy. She's a great person. I respect her and a lot of things that she does, but I still feel like hot and cold with her. So I'm wondering if you
What do you mean hot and cold?
like I sometimes I love her and sometimes I feel like I don't love her as
Mhm.
much, so I don't know if that's a normal feeling or if this is like a sign or something that uh I don't know that this isn't gonna work out.
Okay. How old are you?
34.
Okay. And you've been with her 2 years?
Longer actually. We've been together about 5 years now.
Oh, 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you said 2 years. Okay.
Oh no, few years.
Oh, few years. Okay, few
Yeah.
years. Okay, so 5 years. Okay, so that's quite some amount of time. So she's expecting you to probably propose soon.
Mhm.
Okay, so what specifically are the things when you don't have good feelings about her, what's causing that?
Yeah, lately it's been like I feel like she doesn't seem to jive too well with like I don't know, I guess like close friends and family members. It's nothing like terribly bad, but like I just feel like they sometimes I just feel like the interactions are awkward with other people with her, and I don't know,
So it doesn't go well when you're integrating her with your family and
yeah,
friends.
and if I'm gonna be honest, it feels kind of like a turn off. It's not like she's doing anything wrong, but I wish she would like I don't know, I wish they just like jived better together.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, you have to understand nobody's perfect.
Mhm.
Second of all, though, you also don't want to marry someone in the hopes that they will improve or will change. Okay. You've been with her 5 years, so you know her well, right? I wouldn't get married with the anticipation that she will change. And by the way, as time goes on, it usually gets harder to stay together. So if it's not going well in the beginning, down the line, those problems are just going to get bigger. Her not being compatible with your friends and family can mean a number of things, you know. Either, you know, it kind of depends also. Are you very close with your family and friends?
Yeah, I would say that I am. Like I see them pretty often, and it it feels weird because even with like different friend groups or different social groups, I just it just feels like they just don't gel. And
So
then
you don't, it sounds to me like you kind of feel embarrassed about bringing her around other people.
yeah, I I don't as much until like I guess we're maybe at the function or something, and then sometimes it feels like she says things that I feel come across I don't know, like other people
Is she
uh
racist? Is
no,
she
no,
stupid? Is
no,
what
she's
is
not
it?
she's not racist, but I feel like she can say things that come across as slightly rude. They're not overtly rude, but they can be rude, and I don't know if if she just doesn't get that, but I feel like I can see it in other people's reactions or their faces that they find that like 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 what she said was rude.
Okay. And do you think it's rude?
I do.
Okay.
And
Have you ever talked to her about it?
yeah, I've tried to talk to her and explain to her about it, but I feel like she just doesn't quite understand it.
Okay. Does she have mental problems?
No.
Okay. Because sometimes, like, if somebody has a little touch of Asperger's or autism, they'll be very straightforward and that can come across as rude, but
Hmm.
it's not. They're just talking, you know?
You see, as far as I know, she doesn't, but I had a friend ask me once if she had that, and I never thought of it before.
Okay. So maybe it's undiagnosed. But regardless, you need to decide if this is your person.
Hmm.
If I ask you right now, is she 51% or more valuable? Tell me, what do you think?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if they're over 51%, we keep them. If they fall under 51%, we don't. Are you getting things out of this relationship? Be it physical, emotional, or mental?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Um, ultimately it's up to you, you know? And if you're really on the fence about it, you can do an exercise that I call the blind study. And you do it on yourself for 2 weeks. And what it means is every time you think about asking her to marry you and you think positively about it, you put an O on a piece of paper and you put that in a box. And every time you think about asking her to marry you and you think negatively about it, you put an X on a piece of paper and you put it in a box. And then after 2 weeks, see where you're at. And that'll give you a good reading at where your thoughts are over a 2 week period. And you may be surprised that there's a lot more O's than X's or a lot more X's than O's. Um, you know, from what you've said, it's hard for me to tell where you're at. You kind of sound almost evenly balanced about staying with her and not staying with her. Are you in did I already ask you, are you in the masculine? Do you want your thoughts respected or your feelings cherished?
Yeah, you haven't asked me, but just hearing just hearing how you explain that, I feel like I'm more in the feminine.
Okay, so you want your feelings cherished.
Hmm.
Well, then that's going to mean that you need to look up to her and be able to respect her. And it doesn't sound like you can.
Mhm. That's interesting.
You know, if you had said, I want my thoughts respected, then that wouldn't be a big deal because you're not looking to her for that. You're looking to cherish her feelings. But since you said you want your feelings cherished, you might not be compatible. For a successful relationship, you need chemistry, compatibility, and communication. Chemistry is a gift from God. You either have it or you don't. Compatibility is, do you want the same things? Do you have complementary interests? Does one person cook? Or does one person want to be feminine and one person want to be masculine? If I asked her, do you want your feelings cherished or your thoughts respected? What do you think she would say?
She would want her, I think she would want her feelings cherished.
Right. Okay. So that's your basic problem. You guys both want your feelings cherished. So that's not compatible.
Actually, might have to ask her that question. I'm
Okay,
actually
ask her. Okay, ask her. And I mean, maybe, maybe it'll be different. But the third thing, communication, that's something we can work on the most.
Mhm.
If you guys are both alphas, meaning you both have a strong feminine side and a strong masculine side, sometimes with very strong alpha couples, we have to do it transaction by transaction or interaction by interaction. Meaning, if you start with a feeling, she's got to answer with a thought. If you start with the thought, she's got to answer with a feeling. And so that we diffuse the conflict, right? The problem is if everybody does want both, but if you come in with your thoughts and feelings at the same time in a conflict, then the other person has nowhere to go, and it's just a setup for a clash. That's why we do it this way. That's why we have this rubric. And just in general in life, and there's a great book about this called The Yin Yang of Life by Dr. Kim and Dr. Lee. In general in life, we are seeking balance. And so that's why I'm saying if it turns out that you guys both want your feelings cherished, or you want your feelings cherished and you can't respect her thoughts, you might just have even though you like each other and you have chemistry, you may not be compatible. I know it might be confusing because I think this is your first night, but maybe think about it a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I appreciate all the food for thought, especially the thing with the X's and O's and the boxes.
Yeah, try that. Try that and let me know how it goes. I'd love to hear your guys' updates. I'd love to hear how you guys are using these tools. But yeah, think about these ideas. These recordings are also going to be available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, so you can listen to it again. And if you want to talk about it further, we can schedule a private or, come back next week. We're already out of time. We're a little over out of time. So please excuse me if I didn't get to you guys tonight. We will be here next week. And you can always, reach out to me. Like I said, either here, I'll put my credentials in here again, either through my website or on Instagram. You can message me. And if I can answer your question quickly, I will. If not, we can set up a session. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week. Thanks for coming and thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Chloe.
You're welcome.